get into the shenanigans, physicalities, whatever you want to describe it. But it led certainly to an interesting finish to the game.
Sure did.
Why don't we talk? Why don't we go to a Kipper's Clipper on the physicalities according to Sheldon Keefe and what he saw?
I thought that the penalties obviously took a lot of wind out of the sails of the game, but I liked how we handled it. Late. I didn't like Cliff's penalty. Cliff said it's not a hit you can make there. But otherwise, I thought we handled it well. I thought we were physical when the game called for it, and we needed to be. I thought we handled their physicality well, both in making plays and keeping the puck moving and not getting rattled by it. And then just standing our ground when, the nonsense starts late in the third there.
I think the part about them standing their ground in the nonsense was key. I sneaky think it was really big that Morgan Rielly engaged Patrick Maroon, tried to keep him out of that stuff. And then, Maroon more or less jumps him, gives him the business. Rielly hangs in there, and then he goes back at Jan Ruda and decks him one. Like, I think that's a good look for the Leafs, that when those guys try to muck it up on Tampa and become more relevant, that Morgan Rielly was a guy who was willing to step up there.
Fines for Pat Maroon, Corey Perry, and Simmons. They're each fined $22.50 for unsportsmanlike conduct. Is that enough for you? You guys okay with that?
I was a little confused as to what all of them did, really, to get a fine.
What they get fined for? I don't know.
So you just you just can't have a fight? Is that what you can't be in a brawl? Like if the rule is there's no brawl, then you get fined for it, I guess. But I just didn't really understand, especially Simmons.
For general troublemakerness. Yeah, Simmons was skating away from that.
Simmons got chased up the ice by two guys, didn't fight either, and then once the brawl started, he got back in.
He didn't engage, which kind of created the energy, first and foremost. Listen, the bottom line is the league's always had an issue. You can go back as far as when I played about message sending. Mm-hmm. And there are rules. They're warned that they don't like it. Now, did it cross the line enough to suspend anybody? Probably not. But, at some point, you could suspend somebody and really send a stern message that when the game's over and you guys want to start this stuff, you run the risk of being suspended, right? And it didn't get to that point.
What did you think, though? What did you think of Maroon and going at Rielly and, the way that they chased around, Perry, Deck, and Labushkin? And
I get Simmons, right? If it just dies off of Simmons saying, "Hey, look at the scoreboard. I don't need to go on your terms." Right?
It's 5-0 us. We're not doing this.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The issue is, though, like where did it bleed into? And if Simmons does go Maroon,
does Morgan Rielly's hand have cuts on the knuckles?
Morgan doesn't run the risk of breaking his hand.
Yeah.
Right?
I think if he had known it would lead there, I assume he would not have.
It is what it is, and you want to turn it as much as into a positive as you can. And overall, again, a much better look. We've sat here on a few occasions saying, why didn't the Leafs go in and protect Tavares back in November or January? And, why do they allow that? And why is it so hard for them to stick together and back each other up? Like, we're not having that conversation anymore based on what we saw last night. So you're going to find some positives out of it. You want to know what the biggest positive for the Leaf fans might be? That Morgan Rielly isn't suspended today.
What would he be suspended for?
Well, how many fights did you see Morgan Rielly in last night? I saw 2.
If you get 2 fights and a whistle, is that a suspension?
Yeah.
1.5. I'll say he got jumped by Maroon.
No, there were 2 fights.
Yeah.
He kicked the crap out of Ruta.
Yeah.
And then he fought Maroon.
Yeah, I guess the league would generously call that maybe he obviously didn't get a 5 for that.
Morgan Rielly was in no fight, and Maroon was in no fight. Go look at the game sheet.
Is there no 5s?
No 5s.
We should talk about officiating because, boy, that was a weird hockey game, wasn't it?
Like, it's been noted that
Yeah.
Scrub the tape of that, please.
there
Kipper.
were no fights. Morgan Riley was not credited with one fight last night.
That's funny.
Ask his hand.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Ask Ruta's face.
Just a scrum, a couple of knuckle face washes. The boys are all right.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
good on the official.
Yeah. Well, that would make up for the heavy whistle
2 fights.
use throughout the rest of the game. Last night, fun fact about the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mitch Marner played 5 minutes and 30 seconds of 5-on-5 hockey last night. 5:30, which is the second lowest on the team. Austin Matthews played like 7 minutes or something like that because there was no 5-on-5 time. Penalty after penalty. What did you think? You like the way it was
I
called?
thought some of the penalties were just awful.
You did, eh?
Yeah, I did.
I thought they tried to
did.
set a standard. Like,
Well, does that go back to maybe giving Sheldon more credit for setting the officials up for something that maybe he manufactured?
yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. You know, I'm reminded of a time a guy wanted to fight me at a bar, and as I'm walking out outside, I didn't want to fight the guy. I said to the bouncer, like, we're going to go fight. Because I was looking for someone to get in there before I had to do anything.
Yeah. And that's because it was your turn to pick up the check?
I don't remember why it was, to be honest. But like that was Keefe, right? Like saying to the bouncers, like, hey, make sure you're in here quick on this. You know, the better it is for the Leafs, the more penalties called, the better it is for them with their great special teams.